Hello and welcome to this edition of Diaspora Central Spotlight. I am Gil Ingles, and with me today, ladies and gentlemen, in the studio, yes, we have the crowd, the rambunctious, the rowdy, the cast of Beatbox Raparetta is in the building. Yeah. We're here. Houston, Ensemble Theatre. Represented and well represented, fellas. Welcome.
Thank you.
Having fun?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. A debut for many of you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but before we get into that, we got to go back into a little bit of our backgrounds. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
The shout outs that we need to give to those schools and the place that we went through. So let's start by introducing yourselves and letting us know where you're from, what you represent.
Sounds good. I guess I'll start on this side.
Yeah.
So, hello, everybody. My name's Elia Adams. I am a Houston-based actor. This will be my debut on the main stage at the Ensemble Theatre, and I'm super excited to work. The last couple years in Houston have been amazing. I've been blessed to do plenty of different shows and different events, but this one right here is really special, so I'm excited to get to work, and I'm a former graduate from HSPVA right in the center of Houston, Texas. So.
There you go. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Cardero. I'm an actor here in Houston. This is my main stage debut here at the Ensemble. I started acting for a long time ago, I started back 2 years ago, and I've had a great 2 years doing professional theater, and I'm really excited to be here and doing this interview with y'all.
There you go. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kendal Burns. I am a local Houstonian, born and raised in H-Town, and I am representing Kingwood High School in the Kingwood community.
Yeah.
And I'm 17. I'm the youngest in the cast.
There you go.
But I am not a newbie.
You're the veteran, huh?
Right.
You're the veteran, but the youngest.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I've been doing this since I was a tiny tot.
Yeah, put some respect on his name. Come on now.
Yeah, we're going to put some respect on it. It's funny coming from the youngest cast member to I would say the oldest cast member. I'm Winston Savice Jr. I am actually a new actor. So this is my first time, my debut to Ensemble Theatre and acting for the most part. Yeah. I started with my church, and this is the next level for me. So it's just funny that he has more experience than the older guy.
It's kind of like somewhat of an inverse, a good inverse.
Exactly, it's a good inverse, And I'm originally from Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay.
So the East
Northeast.
Coast. Yeah, my family's from Liberia.
Okay.
So that's
LIB.
LIB in the building.
Monrovia.
I'm excited to get everything going and progress my career.
Indeed.
So.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? My name is Juan Sebastian Cruz. I lived in Houston, Texas now for just shy of 20 years.
Okay.
Been a professional actor for about 6 or 7 years now. Worked at a lot of theaters in town, stages, alley, tuts, and I'm very, very grateful to be working at the Ensemble now. It's my first time working with this theater. It's been on my bucket list Houston item for a long time for my career.
Yeah.
So to finally be here is really, really great. And also from I was born in Colombia, in South America, so
there you go.
So I'm bringing a little bit of that flavor.
Yeah. Yeah. Bienvenido, huh?
Muchas gracias.
Hablamos español. Yeah, there you go. Now, fellas, this is big, huge. Huh? Beatboxing, Raparetta. Out of you guys, which one? Who's a rapper already? Who's really like submersed in the culture? Who's got bars? Who's got records? Who got something pertaining to the culture?
Got records.
Yeah.
I want to say
who got receipts?
So I want to say I have bars or records like that, but when this opportunity came up, I was like, man, I've been beatboxing since I was a kid, so this is perfect.
Right.
So I have a little experience, I guess, with that.
Indeed.
With beatboxing.
Yeah, I would say I'm a musically inclined individual from the start. I started off playing guitar before I ever said my first theater word, acting, so I'm very musically inclined. So I rap, I sing, I do a little bit of everything.
There you go.
There's a bar for you right there.
Yeah.
Not too much music out, but I enjoy being immersed in music and hip-hop culture and beatboxing.
Indeed.
And I would also say, same, I'm musically inclined. My dad has made music and beats. I found myself more on the poetry side, writing. But I, can give you whatever you need. Music has always kind of been the back burner in my head, and it's always something that you always can push up and bring. My brother's been rapping his whole life, and I have uncles and cousins who rap. I have cousins who are rappers, so it's just in the family. It's in the blood.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very new to hip hop. Me being a younger generation, I'm more immersed into pop, but I love with the process of me learning about hip hop and when doing my character work, I love like researching about what the hip hop was in like the late 1900s and developing my character.
Yeah. Yeah, he's talking historically. He's like the late 1900s.
And I would say, speaking about the impact of hip hop, that it's just permeates popular culture on all levels, whether you participating in a lot or just kind of on the fringe level, you know about it. So man, growing up like in high school, we would all be trying to bust out little power moves or whatever, b-boy moves. We would be beatboxing all the time, like in the cafeteria. When I got to college, we'd put on beats and try to freestyle to them. We would dance to them. So it was all around you. You know what I mean? So I grew up doing a little bit of that, but now to be able to kind of push it onto a professional stage and share with people is a really, really great experience.
No, indeed. I'll tell you what, listen, hip-hop has played a great role in all of our lives, because I got to share this one with you guys, right? When I came to America, was right in my early teens. So as I go to school, everybody's just looking at me as this African guy from Angola. And I went to a high school where I was the first African ever to attend that school, right? So we have to find our commonalities, right? And hip-hop ends up becoming one of those. So I'm going to take this opportunity probably to publicly give a shout-out to two brothers, one of them being Charles, the other one being Garris. Charles, this brother is like, he was always like slick, like he dressed differently, carried himself differently. Like you could tell this brother some sort of a managerial skill into entertainment. And he grabs me and he says, yo, we're going to be in the bleachers watching the football practice. So we get to the bleachers. We get there. And guess what starts to happen?
Hey.
Hey.
It just starts. Like
And right there, this African guy now is also in that beat. And he stopped being that African guy. He becomes Gil. Right? Because he's also one of us. He can do that thing. So hip-hop unifies people and unifies the world, man. This is the one culture today leading pop culture globally. Right?
Absolutely.
We call it the culture for a reason.
Exactly.
It's almost like it's the culture.
What kind of an impact do you guys hope to do with this play?
You want to go first?
I would say that exactly what you said. I picture that it will bring together just different demographics of people. Personally, in my circle, and they've seen that I just, some people I see on the street, or if they're interested, hey, come see the show. And I've done that with a lot of different groups, different groups that look different, act different. And even I would say that I present myself to. So those people that are coming, I would imagine that this show would bring them together with people who have like mind about hip hop music, and then they'll get a kind of a love for it and a different appreciation for it.
Indeed.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, hip hop has already made its impact worldwide. That's undeniable. But as far as like a theatrical sense, you have a lot of plays nowadays. It's trendy to be using the pillars of hip hop as a device in the show, whether that they're rapping or the artwork is graffiti and popping and all that kind of a thing. But very, very few shows theatrically are about hip hop and the people that made it or the people that live in it. So this show is set in the 90s, so it's right where it's not the birth of hip hop, but it's not quite where it's as commercialized as it is today. So for me, the hope is with this play is that to show that these stories of the people that were on the streets when it was alive and bubbling are worthy of being on the stage, that these relationships are complex and worthy of being told in a theatrical sense.
Yeah.
And I'll also add, hip hop is so interesting because it's one of the few genres in music that relies on realness. The artists themselves have to be real to whatever struggle they go through.
Yeah.
So I think when you see shows like this and in the format, it's just storytelling about what you've gone through, your adversity.
Yeah.
I hope that people can watch this show and see themselves in it and see that hip hop is a form of expression. It's a chance for you to write out everything you've gone through and make some beautiful art out of it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the most catchiest song or the most pop or have the best hook. It can just be you rapping and spitting and yelling and screaming about everything you've gone through and how it makes you feel. I hope people can get that from it.
There you go.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, you know, not just about how we feel, but how it makes us move. It's not always just about the raps either. You know, we get a lot of commonality and communication through how we physically move with each other as people in different spaces, and I think that's a big part of this story as well.
Yeah.
We're allowed to develop these amazing relationships with each other on stage and in the environment because we get to be so intimate with our moves and with the dancing. Back in the day, it was a form of communication for them, not just the lyrics being said, but how they're moving their bodies with each other to express their feelings towards one another.
Right.
So if I can make someone in the audience want to get up and move, even though I might be telling this super intense story, that's the goal. You want to find the contrast in the story, and I want people to take that away from it as well.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the main themes of this show is community, and that's what I feel like we're trying to tell with the story is about community and how it's a realization of like this could be you and this and it can be anyone.
Yeah.
And we want the theme of community to show how we were built to stay together. You know, not
Indeed.
just like in a like just black community, but like as people as a whole.
Right, indeed. As a global community, it's about the power of representation, the diversity, right? The unity within the people. Let's take our first break and take a few images. I mean, take a look at a few images. Take a look at anything that we can regarding hip-hop. It doesn't even matter what it is, as long as we have fun. Anybody want to take us out with the beatbox? We can do the beat. We're going on a break. 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 We're going on a break.
Let it go, Ted. Bet you come out winning in the end. That's a friend. I belong. I hold the royal hand. So kiss my ring if you really one of my fans. Start off as a servant, soon you own way.
And we are back. For those of you that just joined us, you are now tuned into the Diaspora Central Spotlight, and with me today in the studio, ladies and gentlemen, is the cast of Beatbox Raparetta. The Ensemble Theatre is in the building. We're talking about influence, building community, finding your tribe. We're talking about representation. We're talking about leadership globally. Hip-hop is in the building.
Yes.
Pop culture today is what hip-hop is, right? Yeah, how many of you guys remember when hip-hop played the first time on the radio? Hands up.
That's a tough memory, but
I do.
When hip hop played
On
the
commercial radio. On commercial
Oh,
radio.
yeah.
Yeah, like regular commercial radio. Man, we thought we were going to die. I'm telling you right now, because you guys don't even remember. Around that time, hip-hop would only play in very late shows, sometimes in public access television stations or radio stations, right? If it was on television, it was after midnight, like right before the station closed. By the way, the stations didn't used to stay open. Like channels wouldn't stay open the whole time. They would close after a specific hour, right? So the last show would be one of those. And I believe there was a show with D. I can't remember the name of the show. There was like the first commercial hip hop show on, I think was Fox Television, right? And this was like late at night. I think it was like at midnight. So we staying up to watch this thing because this is what it is. The hustle of getting tapes, cassettes. You guys remember that?
Oh, yeah. I do have some from there.
You gotta use a pen to
Yeah.
rewind.
Yeah. Sometimes they break. You gotta get the razor, chop it up, and you can cut straight. You gotta cut it
At an angle.
in an angle, and then reconnect it with a little bit of tape underneath it, so that the tape won't mess up the head. That used to be hip hop. There was hip hop, right? Yeah, the samples didn't like sample for 30 seconds like today, like an hour sampling. Nah, man, it was like less than a second. You catch 3 seconds. You catch this little tiny bit, and you gotta loop it right so that it makes good sense. But today we're looking at a whole culture, right? Right, something that is taking people from the hood into the top of the economic food chain, right? Representing what our struggles have been, right? The commonality that we find within us and within heritage. So tell us a little bit about your experiences based on your background.
Experiences in what way?
Like from heritage,
Yeah.
even as you joined the Ensemble Theatre,
Ensemble Theatre,
right?
yeah. I mean, definitely growing up in my household with my mom and my grandparents, there was a wide variety of music that was always played. With my mother, a lot of R&B. I have an older sister as well. We're about 11 years apart. So
Okay.
she's from that 90s generation. I mean, she was literally born in 90.
Gotcha.
So for her, she listened to a lot of that. Bobby Brown, she was very big into New Edition and all that type of music. So I listened to a lot of that coming up for me. And then as well as MTV, that was really big on me growing up. Music television, you know, them playing late night music videos. That's how I saw a lot of the hip hop I was really introduced to that wasn't necessarily from the generation I was born in, but influenced the generation that I was born in.
Yeah.
And I honestly have probably a deeper connection with the older music, 80s, 90s R&B and hip hop and rap, because there was more substance to it. You know, you get a lot more feeling from what you're listening to. And that's where most of my knowledge and information comes from, just being around it growing up. And then you, of course, get your introduction to soul and like Sam Cooke. That was my grandfather, listening to all kinds of Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
And it's all a part of our culture and our story that we have to put together that makes us who we are today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thank my parents and I thank the people I grew up around for putting me on to hip hop and music in general.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, what about
That's a very good question. You made some great points because I think what's so crazy is how much this stuff connects to our past.
Yeah.
You have Negro spirituals that will eventually turn into like blues, which turn into soul, which turn into funk, which turn into disco,
Right.
and all these music genres sort of connect in their own unique way.
Right.
And then you get to hip hop and how hip hop sort of just start taking a bunch of that. They start taking Negro spirituals as samples, and they start taking Aretha Franklin music and so many other aspects. My unique background is really good because my dad was born in 66, so he got a lot of the 70s and 80s, so he showed me all that, you know,
Right.
all the different genres that he listened to, and he made music. He did a lot of gospel rap. He made music for a lot of Houston-based rappers here.
Okay.
But I was not into it. That's the crazy part. I was just not into gospel rap. A lot of the older heads, I don't know, off the top of my head, like maybe like Common or Mos Def, like some of those more conscious rappers.
Conscious,
I wasn't really into that. I didn't get onto it until Lil Wayne came out with his little crazy
There you
raps.
go.
And other artists like Tyler, the Creator, and there are other artists that more so connect with me on their quirkiness and how they rap and the joy and the laughter. So I love that. I love that our experiences can sometimes fuel what music gives us. Even if it is like a fun, happy song, there's still something there that a reason why they chose to sing that way and why they chose to rap it that way. And it's based in your truth.
Indeed.
So yes, I think that is a good question.
Yeah. Thank you. Go ahead.
Well, just I guess to piggyback on that, what you were saying, is kind of different because the way I was raised, I was raised on African music, but then they would listen to a lot of pop, Bob Marley, and jazz, and I think that's where my musical beatboxing came in, hearing a lot of like music, and my dad listens to classical as well, but personally, I didn't get into hip hop until maybe middle school.
Wow.
Like maybe like late middle school.
Yeah.
And me and my friends used to try to rap, and we were writing raps and flowing on beats and stuff.
Yeah.
And I try to convert my beatbox to like beats, but I failed at that.
No, you didn't fail. You didn't fail, because if you had failed, you wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
Can't fail until you give up.
Exactly. But yeah, hip hop, it was one thing that, like, my early childhood, it wasn't that strong, and then even in the African household, hip hop wasn't really that strong. But and there was certain songs that were like pop songs that Africans would. They would listen to, and this is a song that would get everybody up.
Right.
When In the Club by 50 Cent became one of those songs, I said, okay, I see what hip hop is doing, is bringing everyone together to see all these, older African ladies, dancing to.
There you go.
It was amazing to see.
Yeah, it's their birthday, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly when I discovered hip hop or when it made an impact on me, but I just remember it being so accessible in a way that other musical forms or dance styles, there's a lot of history and tradition that you sort of have to learn about. But once hip hop and everything started to become a little bit more commercialized, I mean, you just need something on a table,
Right.
That was it, and everybody could come around and try saying things, dance along to it. It was much more about like personal expression, having fun, making that impact. And there's a lot of history with it, right? It was Black culture in the late 70s in New York City that created it. But I think the universal message is that no matter where you're from, no matter what struggles you're doing with, you can find your own personal expression and use that to elevate where you're at, to tell your story or have fun or whatever it is. So there are some rappers and some songs that just strike a certain feeling or a certain story that is difficult to come across in other genres because of the storytelling aspect within that music. So that really got to me, the accessibility of it, how big and powerful it could be, but how personal it could be at the same time. And that's kind of what I'm saying. It just kind of started weaving into my life in a way that I don't really remember the first impact. But suddenly I knew how to breakdance a little bit, and I was trying to rap a little bit, and I was making beats with friends, and I was interested in the art. So to have all of those experiences come together now, it's quite a journey.
Now being of a Latino influence also, because Latin music has really also played a big role in hip hop, right? And we looking at even Latin names like, for instance, Fat Joe, a lot of Puerto Ricans, right? I mean, Lean Back was a big, that was a big hit. It's still a big hit. That's a song that globally catapulted like the Terror Squad to the next level. If you talk about going from underground into becoming an icon, that song did that for them, right? But we didn't get your your opinion, King Wood.
Unfortunately, hip hop wasn't really a big prominent thing in my life. But like, what's so funny is that after researching about hip hop, I kind of knew what it was. Like, I had a sense of it, but it just didn't really impact me. But growing in like a Christian household, gospel was very prominent in my life. But it did have some, like what Cardero said, that hip hop did had a tie to it. So like, I was still able to connect to it. And I just love about what hip hop and the connection with gospel is that it was about the stories that they were telling, but it was just with a different beat.
Indeed.
So that's why I was still able to connect with hip hop when learning about it, because I was able to put it in my gospel background.
It's kind of like almost intellectually we're watching the journey of the drum, right? This drum that came from Africa at some point, right? Spoke that tribal Bantu language, right? Comes across the ocean, lands in the islands, right? Adds a little something to it and creates their vibe island.
Evolutionary.
Right? Then leaves there, gets to the mainland Americas. It becomes the blues, the Negro spirituals, the gospel, the rock and roll,
all of it.
Right? The hip hop.
Yes, the backbone.
And then it doesn't stop there.
Right.
Goes back to Africa, right?
Yes.
And now starts to come back as Afrobeats.
Afrobeats,
Right? We're watching the evolution of some right before us, the evolution of culture, humanity becoming itself on how we all won without even trying, right? Just being. Yeah. The power of expression. Yeah. Now, dancing is a critical part of this. Graffitiing also is a big part of this. Fashion and stuff like that. So some of the things that kind of influenced you guys personally, that in your opinion, it's like, okay, I definitely feel hip hop when I do this, or when I wear this, or when I hear this. Give us some of that.
For me, it's the dress. I mean, I'm all about clothes. I got an extensive closet, to say the least. But, fashion is crazy, right? How it is recycled through generations. And really, in this time, 2024, we're kind of getting back into dressing like we live in the 90s. Baggy clothes are more in style again. I remember when I was growing up, you wore skinny clothes, skinny jeans, small shirts. Now it's cool to wear your oversized T-shirt again with your baggy shoes and a backwards cap. It's the swag behind it. So for me, when I'm dressed up in the right gear, that puts me right in place for the show.
There you go.
For me, I would say it's I guess it's a little cliche, but this is a community. I think it's a confidence. Rappers and, well, anyone in hip hop has always had to be sort of confident in their music. And hip hop, something that could be considered so lame becomes popular. Like, girls shake that lappy tappy.
Right.
You know, that sounds like a weird sentence to say. But next thing you know, it is like #1 on the Billboard 100. So I love, it's the confidence. You can say the wildest stuff, but if people feel it, then they feel it. And as a community, you just have to keep growing as that, and still, like, nothing ever is truly set in stone. You can always just come up with new things to say and new ways to express yourself. And I just love that confidence in hip hop.
Indeed.
I would say mine would be the dance and like the rhythm of it. Me being like a theater person and growing up in theater, when I get into hip hop, I always have to like be in some type of dance move to like, to get it and to get it within my soul. Right. Because it's just dancing at like you said, from Africa has just been within the African roots, and in the African American, and then into the Americas, and then we changed it and then went back. And so that's what hip hop is for me, with like the dance moves and just feeling the music and the rhythm of it, and let it transform in my body and let it the expression show.
Indeed.
Yeah, for me, the music as well. I mean, you know, we talk about, with me being a Latino, there's obviously a lot of rhythm and richness in that culture and in that history and in that music. And I feel equally as strongly about it with hip hop, with the 808s, with everything booming. Like, it's just a feeling that they like push that to the forefront. And there's just a feeling I get with that kind of music that I can't get with other kinds. So
For me, it is a culmination of everything that has been said. It's the fashion, of course, because you know, when you look good, you do good.
Indeed.
And you're gonna show out. Right. It's the dance. Rap is rhythm and poetry. Yeah. So you have the poetic words that's hitting. Yeah. And then you also have the flow of the beat. Right. So the combination of that is what makes hip hop what it is. Yeah. And a lot of people try to say stuff about the new school hip hop versus the old school hip hop. It's just a different way to interpret it. Indeed. Because in the old school, it was all about lyrics. Yeah. It was, you know, they're flowing on the beat, but they're saying something of substance. And now it's more just about the flow.
It's the vibe. It's the vibe. Yeah.
Which is nothing wrong with that, because you need all that to really hit home the hip hop.
Indeed. Yeah. One of the things, there's a song by a group, real old group, UTFO. Okay. And that group is sort of historic in two aspects. One, I think, in my opinion, was the first group that actually integrated Spanish into their song. Right. So UTFO was Dr. Ice, Kengo Kid, and Professor, I can't remember the name of the professor, but anyway, so there were three guys. And one of the guys' rhyme was somewhat, "What's up, party people, in the place to be? I am Miguel, Chief Rock MC. I'm chilling in the place to be, you know. To all the sweet young ladies, dame un beso. Tú eres linda y quiero saber tu nombre." Right? And believe it or not, Kango Kid is Haitian. Right? Right. So you had Dr. Ice, who's American. I mean, they're all Americans, of course, but when I'm saying Haitian, I'm talking of their descent, right?
Yeah.
Their immediate descent. So you're already connecting all of these cultures and creating something that most of us didn't even envision it that way, right? Because through the lens that is telling the rest of the world of what this art form is, it's saying that this is the art form of Black America. But is it really just Black America, or this is the art form of America? So, and where I'm going with this little brief conversation is the impact, the social impact that things such as this, like of the beatbox Raparetta, can have futuristically in other communities. That social responsibility and impact. How do you guys carry and handle that on your shoulders?
Just making sure we tell the whole story and we tell the truth and we give our truth to it. That's gonna be the way you get people to believe and actually feel for what's happening and what's going on.
Right.
We have to understand what we're telling and believe what we're telling.
Right.
And I think once we do that, it's hard to miss.
There you go.
And also being clear on the emotion of the characters and the arc that they're going through. I think sometimes when it comes to rap music, you can just forget about the lyrics and just vibe to the feeling and the beat. And when you're watching like a play, I think it's good to just follow the emotions.
Yeah.
We make the city your city USA, which means that it can be any city.
Right.
All you really have to do is just connect with the characters to understand what's really happening. And if you connect with the characters, I think you got it. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's just our lines that we have, because when looking at the script, we have very impactful lines to tell to the audience, and I feel like our job as actors is to make sure that we hit those important lines to the audience, so it can be like really sit in their mind, and then when they take away from that show, that line is still in their head.
There you go.
You know.
Yeah.
If I could speak frankly, I think to handle that sort of impact, I think it's really important that this play is being done by a Black theater, and a historically Black theater that has had such an impact in Houston and in the United States, with how few of them there are, unfortunately, because hip hop is for everybody to come in, to be invited into the circle. And again, for me, it's very awesome that I can be a part of this experience. But I think for the people in charge and for the designers and the director to really handle the material with care, to dive not only into the fun and the sort of, like, you know, it's in the 90s, so there are some sort of like tropes that are like kind of funny now to look back on, to lean into all of that, but also to be able to handle the very serious nature of the struggles of the people and of the relationships, to combine all of that. So that, to handle the story with a certain level of authenticity, so that the impact it makes on the audience is real.
So we all know hip hop is a global genre of music. So that means it spans to everyone. No one is partial to hip hop. There's no one person that's partial to it. So with we have the text that we're saying over the beat. But there's a word that recently came into my periphery recently was subtext.
Okay.
So the subtext of what we're saying is what we need to exude with our acting.
Okay.
And it's not, and I think it's more so because hip hop is in us. It's not more so acting, but it's being. So once we be, we're able to.
Yeah. So, and on that being, we're going to take another quick break, and we will be right back, because we got to close this very exciting program where we have the cast of Beatbox Raparetta that opens on March 22nd and goes through April the 14th. Yeah? Yeah. They should come.
Yes.
Check it out. Check it out.
Come check
Check
it.
it out.
Check it out.
We'll be right back.
The E is for everyone, and everyone counts.
The Ensemble Theatre is located in the vibrant Midtown Houston community, where we serve all of Houston as we execute the mission to preserve the African American artistic expression, which enlightens, entertains, and enriches a diverse community.
George Hawkins, our founder's vision in 1976, was to establish a safe space where Black artists could create and train from youth through adulthood. While all artists are welcomed, the Ensemble Theatre seeks to improve the well-being of creatives who are often challenged to find opportunity, and of audiences who can see an authentic reflection of self in works highlighting the human condition through an African American lens. Our community wants safety for their full being as they express and receive in nurturing environments. We center stories that are central to the American journey, but are disproportionately underrepresented on American stages, directly connected to philanthropic fund distribution. Through 47 years of main stage productions, training programs, and alternative offerings such as readings, discussions, and films, we make space for our community to explore what matters to them.
The need is for everyone and everyone counts.
And we are back. If you just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight. The excitement as everything else at some point's got to come to an end. And these gentlemen that have come to represent the Ensemble Theatre and the Beatbox Raparetta, the cast. Thank you for the time, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Thank you.
It's been a great pleasure. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Now, any shout outs or anything that you guys would like to give to people before we go?
I want to give a shout out to my college, Wiley University over in Marshall, Texas. The first thing that I did when I got to that college my freshman year, I met a group of guys. They were like, "Hey, freestyle," and I was hooked ever since in hip hop. So
Indeed.
I love that that's the culture that we have cultivated at my school and at other schools, is that you could just start freestyling with your homeboys and it's totally normal. So shout out to Wiley University.
There you go.
I want to give a shout out to the ladies of this cast. Those listening in, it's not just men. We got some very, very talented ladies in this cast.
There you go.
That rock it just as well. So,
Keeping it politically or socially correct.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
There's always an LL Cool J in the crowd.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I just want to give a shout out, one, to my church for allowing me to start my journey into acting so I can be able to do this. And then, two, I want to give a shout out to one of my friends. I'm just going his nickname Bull.
Yeah.
He told me, he said, "Hey, one you gonna get a project that you're gonna be able to showcase your talents."
There you go.
And when this came, I was like, man, he was right. So shout out to me.
There you go. Yeah. It'll be you.
I want to give a shout out to the ensemble, mainly because they raised me from the ground up, and I mean that literally, because they had this young performance program, and I was in it, and I was scared, and I was like, this is my first time acting, and then after that first show, I just stuck with them, and they continue to change me and improve me and better me, and to take me places that I've never been, and just allow me to grow as an actor and as a person as well.
Yeah, indeed. Fellas, it's been a great pleasure, and I'm going to share a little bit of my piece with you guys. I would like to give a shout out to the United Methodist Metropolitan Church from Indian Head, Maryland, for being the place that kept me safe, kept me off the streets, but yet allowed me to understand the culture of the streets and to apply the talent that I was getting from the vibes of the culture of the streets and guide me into who I am today. Hip-hop is definitely in us. Be yourself, be true to yourself, stay true to yourselves, and remember that the social responsibility is here to stay. It's not just about now. And not only when the cameras are on, it's at all times, right? Oh, yeah. And with that, I would like to say thank you for being here. And for those of you that joined us, thank you for taking a few minutes out of your lives to enjoy this conversation. And we hope that you will join us at Ensemble Theatre to check out the Beatbox Raparetta between March 22nd and April 14th.
That's right.
Yeah. Can we go out with the beat? Yeah. Let's go out with the beat. So. Yeah.
A Raparetta at the ensemble. Check us out.
Yeah.
Bring your family.
Yeah. From March 22nd through April the 14th at the Ensemble Theatre in Houston, Texas. What's the website?
TET Ensemble.
EnsembleHouston.com. You can find tickets there.
There you go. The EnsembleHouston.com. That is the website. And remember, everybody out here got IGs and Instagrams, and the ticker is right there. So make sure that you connect to these young men. Empower them, because if you don't empower the community, you don't empower yourself. Until next time, peace.
I will see you at the Ensemble.
The E is for everyone. The E is for everyone.
The E is for everyone, and everyone counts.
The Ensemble Theatre, where the E is for everyone.